Hi everyone, in this video I'll be talking about one of the most deadly formation right now in the game. The biggest meta right now, meta team, Sagittarius Seiya plus Virgo Shun. Now this is a super deadly combo, this is a no-brainer combo, and instant win combo because essentially you close off the battle in kind of 10 seconds-ish of each game. You do not need to worry too much about positioning or anything like that, so it can work both in offensive and also defensively. And really just kind of bring your formation out with those two characters in, along with three others who I'll talk about later on in the formation part of this video. Just bring them in, put them set them as a defense, and you'll see you win lots of battles. If you go out and attack people, you get a few instant wins as well. So really easy, and I'll tell you all about it. Now, of course, I'll be going through why it's so strong in this video. I'll show you a few demos of it in action to show you how deadly it is, in case you haven't witnessed that already in your own game. And also, I'll be giving a few tips on how to counter this because as the meta goes on, as more people get his Sagittarius and Virgo Shun leveled up, you'll see this literally everywhere in every single player's team. So you really want a way to counter them as well. So I will tell you briefly about what are the best way to counter that. Cool. So now let's just start off with the main protagonist in this formation, Sagittarius and Virgo. Now, the reason why this formation is so deadly is because the concept of dealing out as much damage as possible in the first few seconds to every single enemy at the same time. Now, in order to do that, what you have is Sagittarius opening attack, who deals about 200% of his attack to everyone, knock them down, etc. Then you also have his ultimate, which deals up to 450% of his attack. So that together is already 650%. Now, not only it deals that amount of damage to everyone, you are also increasing his attack further when Sagittarius Seiya have a few buffs on him. Because for every single buff, he is able to get an additional 6% attack, and also ignores the enemy's defense by 4% for every single buff as well. So that together makes a super high amount of damage that you're able to dish out straight away. Of course, in order for you to be able to do that, you have two conditions. One is you want to release your ultimate before they can, so to make sure you do this quick succession of damage dealing. Sagittarius' own toolkit kind of helps with that because once again, for every buff Sagittarius say again, he also increases the speed of Cosmo gaming by 8%. So that's useful, and also almost a mandatory for Sagittarius is that you kind of need his constellation up as well. Ideally, all 9 star points so that you can get this 600 cosmo per second as well as an increased attack. But even if you don't have too much resources and you can only get it for the first 400, sorry, the first level. With just 3 star points and get only 400 cosmo per second. That's already good as well. So definitely try to up as much of the constellation as possible for Sagittarius. Now, that's the second condition Sagittarius needs is that he needs lots of buff to be on him in order for this to happen. And that's really where the second part of the equation comes in with Virgo Ship. Because with level 30, so this is mandatory, level 30 armor of Virgo Shun, he's able to release his ultimate and start battle. And that would give 15% buff in both attack and attack speed, as well as weaken the enemy's defense by 15%. So this is once again you're giving 2 buffs to Sagittarius Seiya, so that will help him with his attacks. And also, if you just think about purely kind of the net benefit here, you're doing a plus 15 to your own allies and a negative 15% and minus 15% to all of your enemy's defense. So that's like a 30% difference. So once again, this really help to scale as much damage your opening attacks and your ultimates is able to deal. And not to mention, because you are releasing your ultimate at the start of the battle, you are actually dealing out a bit of damage with Ferguson as well. And that is to all of the enemies as well. It's not ridiculous high. It's only 190% of attack, but still, that's a lot of damage. You add the 650% from Sagittarius Seiya, you add 190% from your Virgo Shun. That by itself is already 840% of your attack. You then factor in the 30% net difference between attack and defense that you're able to get with this kind of field effect, and then on top of that, all the other additional attacking buff Sagittarius A is gonna get himself. Ridiculous amount of damage, and that's why it's almost like a no-brainer instant win. Now let's talk about the formation itself, because obviously Sagittarius Seiya and Virgo Shun are compulsory, but there are still three other slots that you can fill in. So who do you want to bring there? Now, in terms of formation bonus, you either want to go down a fire and earth formation route, or you want to go down five different elements rainbow team formation. You definitely want to get the highest formation bonus as much as possible because that will help in terms of how much damage you're able to deal out and really just close out the win as soon as possible. Now, if you're going down the fire and earth, which is kind of the traditional approach, I would suggest definitely bring in Sirius. Sirius is super strong because he is able to have this opening skill of giving you attacking speed to of your allies. So remember, attacking speed, that's a buff. Sirius is gonna increase additionally because of this additional buff. So super good synergy. And on top of that, he also give a starting Cosmo boost to everyone as well. So once again, that really helped your Sagittarius to be able to release his ultimate as soon as possible. So Sirius, very good candidate. Hound Asterion, not a good candidate because Hound Asterion is able to really help out a lot by once again his skill of giving, I believe, attack and critical hits. Um, buff to of your allies. So once again, two additional buffs that will help a lot with such as Seiya to make sure you deal as much damage as possible. So that's another good candidate. And then in terms of the other slots, you can put Taurus Aldebaran, for example. Taurus Aldebaran with his reflection damage can also really help out to make sure you kill off the enemy, or at least one of the enemy, almost like instantly. If you don't want to bring Taurus Brown, you could also bring in Sagittarius. That's also a very good choice because Sagittarius gets stronger. Sorry, gains Cosmo faster when your allies gains Cosmo. So your Sagittarius Seiya and your Hound Asterion both charge Cosmo really fast. So this also helps your Sagittarius Aurus to charge out Cosmo super fast. So his ultimate is also going to be ready. And with Virgo Shuns and Sagittarius opening attacks, most of the enemies should be around kind of 60 or 50% health mark. So your Sagittarius Aurus ultimate should be able to wipe them out and to kill off an enemy. And then when such as Aurora's kill off an enemy, he's able to then charge his custom instantly and then fire ready to fire his ultimate again. So that also helps a long way. So this is also a very good synergy here. Um, Honestly, like Fire and Earth, there's a lot of good characters. If you want to go for a bit more defensive approach, you can even put Agati, I guess. But I guess in my opinion, the strongest. Oh, also you can put Leo. Leo is also very interesting, especially if you also have what is it, Taurus Aldebaran. Is that what happens is Leo gets stronger. He gets an attacking buff as well whenever an enemy is killed off. So if you also have Taurus Aldebaran, this almost guarantees at least one of your opponents, the one with lowest HP, will be wiped out. And then that makes your Leo stronger. And when Leo releases also he can really just kind of close off the game and just kill off everyone. So that's also very good. But yeah, there's a lot of good choices. In my opinion, probably the best option is this. This is probably the strongest in my opinion. You can put Sagittarius up front, by the way, if you have level 30 of his close, because then he gets a bit of a short immunity whenever he takes, I think, like 25% of his health as damage. He puts up a shield and he also gets a short period of immunity, so that makes him doable up front. Um, Now, if you want to go down the other formation of the rainbow idea, then I would highly recommend you bring in Deathmarks. Now, Deathmarks is super good because with Sagittarius, Seiya, and Virgo Shun's attack, most of the time you'll be able to kill off at least one of the enemy, if not all of them. Now, as soon as one enemy is killed off, Deathmarks are going to get stronger by absorbing their cosmo and also getting attacking buff. So when Desmos charge up his Cosmo to the full, he would then be able to release Ultimate. So even though if you only kill off one enemy at the start, he can already absorb all of their Cosmo. This makes Desmos ready to almost fire, if not completely full Cosmo gauge, to fire his Ultimate. That would then be able to knock off more people. So once again, you're trying to deal out as much damage as possible at the start of the battle before the enemy can even respond. So that's why it's super useful here. For the wind formation, for the wind element, I would recommend either Liberadoco. Liberadoco at level 20 of his armor, he's able to give 20%. Sorry, he's able to give four different buffs to all of your allies. So once again, that helps tremendously with Sagittarius passive. So because you're giving him four additional buffs, Sagittarius is going to charge up a lot quicker, and also get a lot stronger. Alternatively, you can also go for a quite fun formation, which is with kind of your what do you call it? Your Potomi, because Potomi also deal an opening attack to two random enemies, but on top of that, he also tag them with a golden arrow. Now, with the golden arrow, all of the damage, every single time when they suffer damage, they will get an additional damage from Potomi as well. So this also makes it very deadly because you're dealing out so much damage at the start of the battle. This is almost like a farm formation where you just try to literally see whether you can kill off everyone with purely open attacks. So super fun. And as for the for the last slot for light and dark uh, character, literally you can put anyone here. Any one of them would do. I would just recommend to bring in your strongest. Now, probably I recommend German Sega because this formation is a bit somewhat fragile. Especially if you go down kind of the Potomac route, you need someone up front really. So German Sega can actually be put up front, so that's quite a good choice. You can also put Poseidon, the latest character. He can also be put up front. And also, in fact, he's quite good because he also bounced the damage he suffered for the first few seconds. Now, there's a bit of a conflict because Sagittarius Seiya knocked down the enemy for 2.5 seconds, whereas Poseidon only reflect damage for the first 5 seconds. So there's a bit of a conflict there, but still you are able to deal out a bit of additional damage at the start of battle, which is nice. Um, but in all honesty, light and dark spot doesn't really matter too much. Just bring most of your damage will be coming from Sagittarius and Virgo Shun and also Deathmark to some extent. You don't really need to worry too much about who's your light and dark slot. Just literally put your highest level one there. Now I'm going to do a quick demo of how deadly this combo really is. So here on the screen I have a defensive battle just to show that I'm not really positioning my knights in any way to counter the opponents. I'm not, nor am I getting any elemental advantage here. The enemy here who attacked me is actually 29 levels above me. He has full Omega 2 accessories as well, whereas I only have for a couple of my knights. So, I'm kind of like out level by them, both in terms of the equipment and also in terms of the characters themselves. However, if we actually then get into the battle, so what you can see here is with the first round of opening attacks from both Sagittarius and also Virgo Shun, um, this is only 1 second into the battle. You can see I have already killed off the enemy's Virgo Shun. This is all of their knights are full 16 star with Omega 2 accessory, and I'm able to just wipe out one fragile character, Virgo Shun, straight off, just with the opening strike, without even using any ultimates. So that's how crazy it is. Now, Capricorn Shura here is also down to about 15-20% health, so almost dead as well. The other three are a bit more bulky, so but I'm still able to wipe, a good 30-40% of them as well. Now, once again, only 1 second into the battle. Okay, so now all of them have been cleared up. You can see about 3 seconds in, what happened was there was a few chip damage from Virgo Shun's Nibiru counterattack or various different skills, etc. But 3 seconds into the battle, Capricorn Shura has been killed off as well. He was already significantly weakened by all of the opening strikes, and with all of the chip damage, we were able to wipe them out as well before the ultimate. Now let's keep on going. Here, 25 seconds. So, sorry, 5 seconds in, 125. You can just about to see Sagittarius is about to release his ultimate. At this point, opponent's Aries moves still have a high amount of health left. All of them have about, 70 to 80% health. And my Sagittarius is charging on to release the ultimate. 5 seconds into the battle. Release the ultimate. What do you know? For some reason, it didn't actually do much damage to. Oh, because Hound Asterion and Hound Asterion, you can see actually dodged the attack. It actually says here it dodged the attack annoyingly. Whereas Sirius had his shield up, so it didn't actually do any damage to them. Aris Moon, however, is unlucky. Remember, he was at about 70 or 80% health before. Ultimate goes in, completely killed him off as well. So that's how crazy it is. With all of my opening strikes, I am able to kill Virgoshun, a full Omega 2 set, level 16 Virgoshun. I'm able to weaken Capricorn Shura down to only about 20% of his health so that he is taken out by all the chip damage. And for Aris Mu, once again, Omega 2 set, level 16, 80% health, wiped out with the ultimate. So that's just how crazy this combo is. Finally, I'm gonna close off this video with some tips on how to counter this deadly combo. Now, right now, maybe in your game, not too many people are playing this because, Virgo Shun and Sagittarius Seiya are still really fairly new character, only released recently. Maybe their constellation or their armor is not completely leveled up here. But eventually, once people do get hold of all of this, you will see this being played everywhere. It is the meta for sure. And because it's such a simple, no-brainer, instant win formation, everyone will be using it, and you definitely need a way to counter that. And in my views, there are only really two ways of countering that. So the first way is you want to do damage reduction and also heal yourself back up afterwards. So basically, survive the first round of attacks and then heal yourself back up and try to overturn the game from there. So two components you need here. You need some kind of enemy. Sorry, damage reduction character. So that will be the likes of your Moses, your Krishna, and also Kasa to some extent. So all three of them, you would be able to help you to survive the round of opening attack. Moses is probably the best one out of this, but it's also the most expensive one because you need his full constellation. But with his full constellation, he's able to provide a damage reduction by 40% for the first 8 seconds. 8 seconds is a really long time. It's the longest damage reduction available in the game right now, and 40% is also a huge reduction as well. So Moses is definitely a very good choice, but expensive because he needs full constellation. Krishna is also able to protect your team with his opening skill of Kudadini. Now, his opening skill is slower than Sagittarius Seiya's opening skill. So what that means is Sagittarius Seiya is still going to knock you down with his opening strike. However, you are then able to release your Kudadini afterwards. So it doesn't get interrupted, it just happens slow. So, and the Kudadini is for 6 seconds. So depending on how the enemy Sagittarius is built up, you are potentially, if the enemy Sagittarius Seiya is able to release ultimate within the first 6 seconds of the game, then your Kudadini is able to completely shield yourself from that, which is nice. But even if it doesn't, what happens is that he is able to protect yourself from all of the chip damage, etc. And hopefully by that time you have the second part of the equation, which is your healer, so like Aris move or um, your how that steering, etc., to heal yourself back up. So you take some damage from the opening attack, you put up a shield to prevent yourself from all the chip damage. Within those 6 seconds, your Aris move or your healer, hand that steering, etc., is going to heal yourself back up to full health. So you have the full health gauge in order to take your Sagittarius, the opponent Sagittarius first ultimate. I mean, if you can't even survive with a full health bar, then you are definitely going to lose no matter what. But at least this way helps you to face the enemy's attack with maximum defense as possible that you have. So, Krishna is also able to effectively help you to do that. And then the last one is kind of Casa. Casa, with his telepathy, can help you to, when one of your knights is about to be killed off, make him immune to all damage for 1 second. Now, it's not a very long time, it's only 1 second, and that's why it's really important for you to have a healer to make sure that after that 1 second, you are back to full health, or a lot of health, to survive the subsequent attacks, etc. But definitely, it can help to save you in pinch time, etc. So definitely don't underestimate Casa. And also the other thing with Casa is that when Casa is chosen as the target of enemy skills, he can also reduce the attack of the enemy as well. So once again, Sagittarius Seiya attack everyone. That is gonna be effectively reduced slightly by Casa. So that's also very useful. So this is one strategy of how to neutralize Sagittarius Seiya and Virgo Shun combo by trying to prevent or survive the first round of open attacks and then heal yourself back up afterwards. The second way of countering Sagittarius Seiya and Virgo Shun is to bounce off the damage that you're going to take. So the knights who are able to do that would be Poseidon and Taurus Aldebaran. Both of them is able to reflect the damage they take. Poseidon, you have to be slightly careful because Poseidon's reflection is only for the first 5 seconds. So once again, you may not be able to reflect the ultimate that people are Sagittarius are able to deal out. So you have to be a bit more careful with Poseidon in terms of the timing. But Taurus Aldebaran is a good choice. He's able to zone in and lock on the character with the lowest HP from the opponent. A lot of the time, Virgo Shun and Sagittarius being the DPS, they would have the lowest HP. So you are able to bounce off the damage to one of them, kill them off, and when one of them is killed off, then you essentially break that combo, right? So that's a good way of neutralizing them. Of course, if you have Poseidon, that would also work, but you just need to be a bit more careful with the timing. You may only be able to reflect the opening attacks and all the chip damage, but you still need to survive the first ultimate, etc. Okay, cool. Now with that being said, with Poseidon, Moses, and also Krishna, you have to be really careful about timing of when the enemy Sagittarius Seiya is able to release their ultimate, and it becomes almost a bit of a mind game by that point because Moses can do damage reduction for 8 seconds. Kudadini from Krishna 6 seconds and Poseidon from 5 seconds. So is your opponent Sagittarius able to release their ultimate by that time? You really need to keep a close eye out. Try a few matches to see typically at what time periods do your opponent Sagittarius release their ultimate. I have done some tests before on Sagittarius with Arayashiki, the one that give you Cosmo Gain, with 9 destiny points of the full constellation, and also with the series giving you a starting Cosmo boost. With all of those three in effect, my Sagittarius is able to release his ultimate within 5 seconds. So you can certainly, optimize your Sagittarius to release ultimate super fast. However, if you're missing any of those conditions, or for example, if you have a death mask who's going to slow down the amount of cosmic gaining speed of your opponent's Sagittarius Seiya, then the time can differ. So you need to keep a close eye out to see whether your Poseidon's, damage reflection for 5 seconds, is that gonna be enough? Or is Krishna 6 second Kundalini gonna be enough? Or do you actually need Moses' 8 second damage reduction? And depending on how you are set up, maybe your opponent's also trying to play a mind game of trying to play around with their formation or their constellations, etc., to make sure they release their um, ultimate a bit slower. So outside, for example, the 8 second window by Moses, etc. So there it does goes into a bit of a strategy of fine tuning of your builds to make sure at what point do you release your ultimate, etc. So it can get a bit more interesting from that point. Um, but yes, something you definitely need to keep a close eye out on and be mindful of when the Sagittarius will release their ultimate.